Nowadays,
Where's that silhouette I'm trying to trace?
Clancy can't even sing.
Putting sponge in the bells I once
Buffalo
rung.
Springfield.
Taking my gypsy before she's begun. Just singing the meaning of what's in my mind before I can take
The reason I chose this song was because back when this song came out, Neil Young was part of the Buffalo Springfield. And Neil Young's music has a place in the story today. The story today is the Laytonville Music Festival. And this was back, 35, 40 years ago. I don't know. I'm not good with time. It was when I lived in Monterey. Actually, soon after I moved to Monterey. Because I had been living in my truck, my 55 Chevy truck, and had just moved out of it because my best friend Ted had bought a house. What? And he needed a roommate. You know, a housemate to pay the, So I was given first refusal. I did not refuse. We had the time of our lives. What we did mostly was we played guitars and sang and drank beer all night and all day and all night and all day. I was in another band, but they didn't get many gigs. And with Ted, well, we had quite a few gigs, actually, because he and I were so used to playing, guitars with each other acoustically, that when it came time to putting a band together, well, it was easy enough. All we had to do was find the extra person or persons to help fill out the band of de jour. And we knew how the songs went. All we had to do was teach it to them, and that was a lot easier than everybody having to learn, So we had a lot of fun, and we had a lot of gigs. And Ted was a very social person, so he's actually the one that in Monterey, is our little town. There was actually several bars to begin with before they started burning down. And he would go around to the various bartenders who he was owners, tenders, he was very friendly with. He was outgoing. And he would explain to them that they would make a lot more money if they would hire him to play music. And so he would get them to hire him over here. He would get them to hire him over here. He would get them to hire, it went on. And when we weren't actually getting paid to play music like them giving us money, well, we would go in and unplug the jukebox and we would sing and play all night for free beers. And that wasn't such a bad deal. That was, we can drink a lot of beer. And so there was that. And Ted found this poster for the Laytonville Music Festival. It was summertime. It was right in the apex of summer. And it was hot as heck. And well, it looked like a great idea. Even though we had just moved into his house, it was time to go. Now, he and I had both worked at the Country Kitchen bar and restaurant at this time. And we were kind of left running the place. We were both bartenders. I also worked in the kitchen for pizza. And then there was kitchen for breakfast. It was an all-day operation over there. And it was through this restaurant that we ordered our cases of beer for the festival. And through this restaurant we had, I don't know how many cases of beer, but it was enough to keep him and I, we had all that we could drink, let's say. Plus, we had several bottles of vodka. Oh, my God. Now, I forget exactly where we attained these bottles, but we had them. That's the important thing. And when you looked inside my truck, it looked terrible from the outside, like I say, but inside, with all those cases of beer and all those bottles of vodka and that tuck and roll tapestry, man, it just looked like a little palace in there. And it reminded me, it was so nice looking, it reminded me of the time that Roger Dodger, the bartender at the Pink Elephant, took us to his house after his night shift of bartending. Just because it's 2 in the morning and the bar closes, as you know, it doesn't mean that the party's over. It just means you can't party there anymore. Or, well, you have to lock the doors or something. Well, this time something was going to Roger Dodger's house. And when we got there, I was about to see one of the most beautiful things I'd ever seen in my life. Because I'm the one who opened the refrigerator. It was from top to bottom, red, white, and blue cans of Budweiser. You couldn't fit a thing else in there. It was just crop full of Budweiser cans. Man, that was the most beautiful sight I think I'd ever seen. And my truck reminded me of that. Of course, we hated to dismantle such a beautiful scene, but we did. So anyway, we got the truck all fixed up and we were ready to go. And the way you get there from Monterey in California, about 70 miles above San Francisco, is you head west towards Jenner by the Sea. And when you get to Jenner, you hang a right and you go up Highway 1. Highway 1 is one of the most beautiful highways that you'll ever be on in your life, but it's also a treacherous one. You got to pay attention. You can't be just, talking on the phone and chewing your gum. You got to pay attention. You're in big trouble because it's a long way down in a lot of places. We didn't seem overly concerned, though, because we were drinking beer, playing guitars, and singing, and I had maracas this day. Oh, we were just having the time of our lives. And it's about an hour and a half drive, did I tell you? Oh, we were singing and playing all the way up. What? And it turns out that the way you know that you're in Laytonville for the music festival is you're still right on the ocean on Highway 1, and it looks like a little jail or a guardhouse somehow. It's just all by itself with nothing else around it except the ocean and a cliff. There is this liquor store. And so what you do when you get to the liquor store, we'll get to that later. So we stopped at the liquor store, and we bought all of the Budweiser we could afford. We didn't buy them out, but we bought all we could afford, plus what So now we turn right and we go up the hill, and you get to the Laytonville Music Festival. It's right there as soon as you get up on the level ground. So we pull up to the gate, and there's a guard, guy to take the money and stuff. We get the guitar out, we get the maraca, we hide the beer, and he comes up to the window, and we roll the window down and say, "We're with the band." He says, "Oh, okay." Now, I don't remember what the fee was to get in, if you paid, but it wasn't a king's ransom, but to us it was. We didn't have any money. Not with our lifestyle. So anyway, we went in there, and it was, a couple hours till dark. So we had arrived in a very good space and time because we had time to look around while it was still light and see where the stage was. Beautiful stage. Up high, so the people can look up and see. And enough bathrooms. They didn't have anything for selling liquids. I thought that was odd. Well, we didn't need to buy any. But So, then it turns out that here's the music festival right here. Where am I? Here, right here. And here is where we parked. Right here. So you're really just right next door to the big field of the music festival was just catty corner to where all the parking was. And we were the first truck vehicle to park there. So we were just a hop, skip, and a jump away from all of the liquids we had in the back and the music festival right around the corner. Just a lovely arrangement. So once we purveyed the situation, we got down to serious business, and we sat on the tailgate drinking beer and playing music. And Ted knew a lot of Neil Young songs. And this being a summer music festival, there were many a person that walked by with guitars. And with every one of them, Ted would challenge him to a Neil Young song off. You know, I know more Neil Young songs than you do. Well, most people ignored these taunts and challenges until one gentleman came along and said, "Hey, I know quite a few Neil Young songs." Sucker. So they begin. You know, one person starts playing a song, and it's okay for the other one to play along. The point is, did he know the song? So, you know. Thanks. So it would go back and forth. First he'd play a song, then Ted would play a song, then he'd play a song, then Ted would play a song. Well, it wasn't too far along this routine when he didn't have any more songs. Sorry. So Ted went on for hours. Even I didn't know he knew that many Neil Young songs. Well, I was impressed. We got a star here. The gentleman just kind of faded away, you know. What's he going to do, sit there and listen to Ted for hours? So anyway, I'm not sure what we drank as the night wore on, but we had all we could want. And the only problem we had was keeping people from seeing when we went in there, because there would have been a riot if they had known how many liquids were in there right at the within hand's reach, you know. Eventually, a couple days later, someone did see, "Oh, can I have some?" No. We avoided the panic there just by shutting it down. But what happened the next day during the actual music festival is we realized there was a situation at hand. And the situation at hand was, it was very hot, and it was this red clay that dusted up so well when people danced and, you know, played congas. And and like I say, they weren't selling any liquids there. Well, that was short-sighted. So we decided, you know what we need to do? We need to sell these people some liquids. So that's what we started doing. We sat down in this little corner right near where the car was, and near, you know, the beginning of the, and started selling them for $1 a piece. Now that doesn't sound like that much now, but back then that was a good price to get for a can of beer, liquids. So, and as word spread by word of mouth, "Hey, where'd you get that?" They were selling like pancakes. So much so that Ted had to take the truck and go back down to the little liquor store, you know, the first important landmark that we saw coming up. And he went there with the money we had made and bought more liquids. And when he got back, he would give me the liquids, and I would give him the new money, and he would go back to the store, and this continued on through the afternoon. Somehow there wasn't as much money as I thought there would be, but, you know, who cares? It was an adventure. Life was an adventure. So we got through that day. And the next day, well, you know, we were winding down. It was time to go home-ish. And it turns out that Ted had found a girlfriend. Well, hello, little girl. She was a cute little thing. Short brown hair. And, you know, cute as a button. And she, I guess, wanted a ride, somewhere in the direction of Monterey, if not Monterey, because I've never seen her before. But turns out they didn't want to, you know, sit in the cab with me, with three of us there. That wasn't what they were about. They got in the bed in the back. So, like I say, it's about an hour and a half drive, and it turns out that when you're going down Highway 1, you know, the scenic road there, well, it's a lot like this up front, but in the back, it's a whole different world. It's, you know, just the dynamics of how cars work. Plus, remember, I didn't have the bed on securely like it's supposed to be, so is it probably even more so. And I didn't stop until I got back to the country kitchen where we worked, because that's really the first place you come across when you get back to Monterey. And when I pull in the parking lot in Monterey, in the country kitchen, the back opens up and this poor girl gets out, and she's really just kind of bedraggled, as you can imagine, an hour and a half back there with him. And she just kind of wandered off, you know, there wasn't any social etiquette or anything. See you later. No, she just kind of stumbled off. And Ted told me that the entire time that he was back there with her, he didn't have to do a thing, because it was all he said all he had to do was hang on. No wonder she looked so bedraggled. Jeez. So anyway, that's my story about the Laytonville Music Festival. So here, let's get back some more Buffalo Springfield and nowadays Clancy can't even sing to take us out, okay? Nice to talk to you. Be good to one another. See ya.
Sing